Yo, what's going on, everybody? I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm Marcus, and here we do attorney reactions to current events. In today's video, we're going to cover a few topics, preliminary topics, just to, kind of just talk about some things that I saw that were going on that I thought would be interesting topics. But our deep dive is going to go to the battle for the supervisor of Thornton Township with our two mayors, the mayor in Harvey and the mayor in Dalton. So that's always going to be interesting. As always, I'm a licensed attorney. I'm not your attorney, so this isn't legal. I ate like a muffin or something before then, so I'm a little parched. As always, I'm a licensed attorney, but not your attorney, so this isn't legal or financial advice. Just giving my take on opinion and topics. And if you get some value out of this content, I definitely invite you to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share, or if you want to become official co-counsel, definitely hit that join button and become a member to the channel. Now, first video is going to be interesting because this just kind of pivots off of the last live stream where we talk about something that's going to be around for the next 7 to 8 years is people getting arrested who finessed the PPP loan system. I saw this story. It involved trying to bury hundreds of thousands of dollars in the yards. I thought it was interesting. So let's go ahead and dive into this story to get the show started. Let's get it.
When federal agents arrived at the couple's door, they allegedly tried to stash this bag of $450,000 in their backyard.
That's crazy. $450,000. If you illegally obtain money, I think it's just extremely foolish to like have it in your actual domicile, like where you lay your head at night. That's kind of crazy work.
Backyard. Once convicted, they fled, abandoning their teenage children.
They left their teenage children. This is a wild story. They committed PPP fraud. Feds knocked on their door. They tried to stash $400,000 plus in their backyard. Then subsequently, they just abandoned their children who were teenagers. They just was like, fuck it. Y'all grown. Y'all can figure out life. We getting out of here. This is actually a pretty wild situation. Let's go and watch the rest of this video, and then we'll talk about it briefly after.
They fled, abandoning their teenage children, arrested finally in Montenegro. Investigators insist there are so many more cases like this to uncover. One of their data scientists in California programs computers to find discrepancies.
It's basically impossible for humans to go through it by hand. It would take way too much time.
Just one red flag, this building in San Francisco that they found listed on more than 1,300 different loan applications.
We have our data scientists pouring through those records, looking for anomalies, matching addresses.
These are people who are betting on the fact that you may not be looking.
And what we're here to tell them is we're looking.
About the time I found out about it, the crooks had stole all the money, which is unfortunate for me.
Now, I don't know. I thought that was interesting to see that article. That was 6 days ago that actually occurred.
All right, let's get to a story that's all new at 11. It's happened to just about...
I'm about to give away the next story. But that was 6 days ago that I think that occurred. And that video actually did bring up a good point. When it comes to widespread fraud of government programs, typically, well, how could I put this? What percentage of it? It involves a certain percentage of like agents, investigators, auditors, attorneys, just kind of looking through files. But one thing that I haven't talked about before that was actually a fair point is most times the easiest way is to look at the data. For instance, if I were looking at medical providers, healthcare providers who were defrauding the Medicaid program, one of the things I would do, instead of waiting for a complaint or something to come in, we would do data mining. We would look through the data to find anomalies, and those anomalies will point you right in the directions of the persons who are likely the wrongdoers. You can do that with any type of offense because a computer or an algorithm can spot out anomalies faster than I could if I'm just sitting there looking through a bunch of damn files on my desk. But in the healthcare side, what we would do was we would probably look at, for example, I'm looking at doctors who are overcharging the federal government healthcare system, Medicaid, Medicare. The first thing I would do is probably look at a list of what doctors in a particular area were the highest billers to healthcare. And I would probably want to know that for the past 3 or 4 years. So for the past 3 or 4 years, I want to know what physicians were the top billers to the Medicaid, Medicare program. That's where I'll start. Then I would probably shorten that list by identifying of these names, who have we actually got complaints on or have already potentially had an investigation? And that would narrow the list down. But normally they do look at data points because it's just easier. You can identify more potential. You can identify more credible allegations of fraud by looking at data as opposed to just having a bunch of people come through it. So I thought that story was interesting. And the biggest thing is they just said, fuck it, and left their kids. That's actually kind of wild. Now, this second story that I wanted to talk in before we get to the thumbnail topic today is about a holiday scam. Every year I do a video where I look at like the top 5 or 10 holiday scams that's going on for this year. And I'm probably going to do that video probably sometime next week. But I saw one that was actually interesting because this is a time of year when a lot of people like to travel. A lot of people travel for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever the holiday it is that you celebrate. A lot of people get on a plane and just, want to go visit their family or just go on vacation. Whatever the reason is, this is a scam regarding TSA PreCheck. Now, fortunately for me, I'm cheap. I don't care about TSA PreCheck, even though TSA PreCheck is extremely affordable. I'm just not paying for something when I could just wait in the line and get through. And I don't think I travel that much to have it personally. But, if one person in the family got it, I think everybody has it if they're under the age of 18 or something like that, however it works. But let's check out this TSA PreCheck scam. And y'all let me know, would this be something you all could potentially fall for? Not me, because I just waited in the line. I'm not paying to go early in line or go through the line a little bit faster for one of the 7 or 8 or 9 times that I travel throughout the year. I'm just not doing it. Y'all let me know, is this something reasonable that y'all probably could have fell for or no?
All right, let's get to a story that's all new at 11. It's happened to just about all of us. You get a text, call, or email that says to click on a link to get a package that couldn't be delivered. I've seen that one. Or it says you didn't make a payment that was due. See that one too, but we know it's almost always a scam. Our Katie Lesso talked with an expert tonight about 2 common scams they're seeing this year. She also has some tips to help us protect our.
Oh, give me 1 second. I think I messed up the production.
When federal agents arrived at the couple's door, they allegedly tried to stash this bag of 450.
My fault. I thought I had everything smooth, and I think I messed up production. I went to the wrong video. All right, here we go. TSA.
Millions of people expected to go through South Florida airports in the coming days, and that means long lines and bigger crowds, and scammers are banking on it.
An alert is going out for travelers using TSA PreCheck. Local 10's Andrew Perez is at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport to explain.
We all know from here on out, the months are very busy. Nobody wants to wait in long lines, jump through additional hoops, trying to see family and friends, and scammers are well aware of that.
Thankful travelers headed home at FLL. Ask them what they're looking forward to. We don't hear much about the food.
Spend time with family.
Spending time with the family.
The family union.
What they hate the most, however, it's pretty universal.
Maybe the lines.
The long wait at the TSA.
Doing security. Takes a while.
Scammers know it. In fact, they're banking on it. The Federal Trade Commission issuing a consumer alert surrounding TSA PreCheck, a way to avoid the holiday hustle.
Especially when you have a baby, you have to go to check the
Complaints flooding in, people losing serious money trying to sign up or reapply for the program that speeds up the security screening process for eligible travelers. The scam is this. You get an email from what looks like the TSA encouraging you to renew your PreCheck membership. A link in the email leads you to an official looking website where you fill out a form and you pay a fee. Unfortunately, the site is run by scammers.
We want to encourage the public to be mindful of holiday scams.
The FBI warning to be especially wary during the holiday hustle. There are many different versions of these scams.
From the too good to be true offer to phishing emails to false advertisements. Criminals take advantage of these stressful times.
There are red flags to look out for. For instance, the website might be off. It's not a government site, although it does look legit. Authorities saying do not let your guard down, even if it's to cut the line.
So first-time TSA PreCheck applicants should know that fees are not collected online. You go in person to do stuff like that. Also, don't click links from emails that you're not expecting. Instead, you can go to TSA's actual website by typing the website into your own URL browser. That's the latest here at FLL. I'm Andrew Perez, Local 10 News.
Now, every year it's always some finesse. I've never seen a TSA PreCheck scam. I wouldn't fall for it because I don't really care about TSA PreCheck, or I can't think of the other one that they got. The other private company who sit there and try to sell you some yearly thing where you can get through. What was it called? I can't think of what it's called. I see it all the time when I'm in the airport, but I don't know. I wouldn't particularly fall for it just because I just don't give a damn about TSA PreCheck. But the website did look authentic. So if you're traveling during the holidays, that's one that could potentially jam you up. Now, before we go on our cover story, the two mayors who are actually on the thumbnail are interesting characters. This is normally the season to give to be grateful for what you have and give to others. But both of the mayors on the thumbnail, Tiffany Henyard, and both of these people are known habitually for actually taking. They are taking from the people who are probably the most important people to them, or should be the most important to them, the actual taxpayers. So we're actually going to dive into a complaint that was filed recently against the mayor of Harvey, that was provided to me by one of the community members. So shout out to you all for providing me a copy of this federal complaint that was filed on November 14th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually relatively new. Hey, shout out to you as well. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Round of applause for the first comment. And hey, my Thanksgiving was dope. This was the first time though that I got sick of Thanksgiving food so fast. Normally I'm good until how long do y'all eat Thanksgiving food? Till it's all gone, or like Saturday or Sunday? Normally I go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then Sunday. I'd be like, man, I gotta get a pizza or something. But I don't know. Today I was like, I ate Thanksgiving food for breakfast, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I was like, I don't want no more macaroni and cheese and yams or nothing. I'm good. So the other part of it was, since my son is out in town visiting from college, I was like, I wanted to go out and grab something to eat with him and not necessarily eat Thanksgiving food. So, but for that, I probably still would have been eating leftovers. I'm definitely going to dive back into them tomorrow, but I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, enjoyed the time with their family, and, it's a good time to reflect on what you should be grateful for, especially if you're actually observing this and listening to this right now. You still here amongst the living. So that's definitely an important thing. Now, a subscriber sent me this complaint against the mayor of Harvey, so we're going to dive into that complaint. So I think we all have a relatively good background of what's going on with Tiffany Henyard, but this will provide us a little bit of insight into some of the allegations and things that are going on surrounding the mayor of Harvey. Yeah. I just finished my second serving of leftovers for the day. Yeah, normally I go hard too. I still might go get some mac and cheese on the back end of the game. But yeah, I just broke it up because my son was in town and I wanted to have a chance to go out and sit down with him. That's kind of our thing. We always go out and try out different restaurants together. So I think that's why I broke protocol and ended the Thanksgiving leftovers extremely prematurely. But I'm going to dive back in probably after this live, especially tomorrow. So let's go ahead before we dive into the lawsuit. Should we dive into the lawsuit first? Yeah, let's cover the lawsuit first. Then we're going to turn into this video of the Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard on a live stream that she did. I actually took a look at it, and it was just a few key points I wanted to talk about. But I think the lawsuit would actually be a little bit better and more important to dive in. So let me go ahead and get this lawsuit queued up so we can dive into it. Let's see. All right. So this lawsuit was filed on November 14th. So this is a relatively new lawsuit. We'll get through this one earlier. I think we all have an understanding about what's going on with Tiffany Henyard in her capacity as the mayor of the village and the supervisor of the Thornton Township. Now we're looking at her opposition for Thornton Township Supervisor, the city of Harvey, and in particular, the mayor. I thought it froze up. In particular, the mayor, Christopher Clark. So we're going to go ahead and go through this complaint so we can kind of get a juxtaposition, if you will, of the mayor of Dalton, the mayor of Harvey, and let's see how good, bad, or indifferent these allegations are. Before I dive in, I will tell you this is a complaint. I say this with every complaint. Complaints are merely allegations. I can actually file a complaint against one of you right now for anything. They're merely allegations. However, I have found some news articles that corroborate some of these allegations that we will discuss in this complaint. So take it for what it is. Of course, the city of Harvey, the mayor, all the named defendants will have an opportunity to file an answer with the court where they can rebut or defend whatever the allegations are. But it is what it is. This is a complaint. These are allegations. A complaint can be filed against anyone, but there are open source materials and news reports that substantiate a lot of what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this and get it. Complaint for violations of civil rights, extortion, suppression of free speech rights, and supplemental claims. I don't like how that's worded. All right. Plaintiffs, defendants, we aren't going through it. Let's just go ahead through it. Multiple plaintiffs to include members of within the community. Colby Chapman is one of the names we identified from the video where we first talked about Christopher Clark last week. The defendants, City of Harvey, Cameron Bennings, Derek Charles, the mayor, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's take a look. Parties, plaintiffs. Sinwelski is a resident of Harvey, Illinois, and previously served on the Harvey Zoning Board of Appeals. Plaintiff Colby Chapman resides in Harvey as an alderwoman of Harvey's 2nd Ward. Then we got plaintiff Jose, Acevedo and Aldo Acevedo do business as Acevedo's Auto Service within the city of Harvey. Plaintiff Atlantic Towing and Motors conducts business in the city of Harvey, Illinois. Plaintiff Martin Munoz, doing business as Easy Auto Mechanic, conduct business in the city of Harvey. Man, we ain't about to go through all these plaintiffs. Well, no, it's not that many. We could go through them. Plaintiff Benicia Gonzalez, doing business as Harvey Auto Center, conducts business in Harvey. Harvey Auto Repair, Los Taquitos Restaurant, Starbia Auto Repair and Sales Incorporated, Shaw's Liquor, and Plaintiff Universal Towing. Defendants include the city of Harvey, which is a local government entity situated within Cook County. Upon belief, defendants Cameron Biddings is a resident of Harvey, Cook County, Illinois, and is employed by the city of Harvey as chief of police. So we got the chief of police. We have Derek Charles is a resident of Harvey, and he is Harvey's deputy chief of police. We have Christopher Clark, who holds the position of mayor of Harvey and maintains numerous unlicensed businesses in Harvey. Christopher Clark is also known as Clarence Clark. We have defendants Corianne Davis, a resident of South Holland, Cook County, and she is the chief of staff of the city of Harvey. We have Javier Mangana is a resident and serves as Harvey Police Department detective. Uh-oh. Did I lose the sound? What happened? That was weird. My bad. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there with me. Where did I stop at? I just finished my leftover class action. Uh-oh. How's it feeling now? Can y'all hear everything? Is everything good now? Can somebody give me a thumbs up and let me know? Let me know where I left off in the chat going through the summary. I had the screen up. I didn't have the chat app, so it took me a minute. it took me a minute to see it for some reason because I didn't have the chat up. Uh-oh. Can y'all see anything now? How's it sounding? Okay, all right. I was just about to text it. What was the last thing y'all heard before my net zero internet went down? Okay. All right, cool. I'll run it back. I backtrack. I appreciate y'all for hanging in during the struggle stream. You know what? Actually, let me I'm gonna move this over here just in case something crazy happened. I can actually see it as I'm reading this complaint. That's what I do. See, I work smarter, not harder. Okay. We're gonna scroll back up. Name defendants. I ain't going through all these names again, but essentially what we got here is we have the Chief of Police, Cameron Biddings. We have the Deputy Chief of Police, Derek Charles. We have the Mayor, Christopher Clark. We have the Chief of Staff, Corey Ann Davis. We have Harvey Police Detective, Javier Mangana. Those are the named defendants in the actual lawsuit. Now we're going to skip jurisdiction and venue. Oh, we also have Richard Seaputt, who is the superintendent of the Harvey Public Works Department. Those are the named defendants in the lawsuit. Jurisdiction and venue, nothing to address there because we appear to be in the right court to hear this particular case. All right, a short statement of the case. We're starting at paragraph 23. Defendants in conspiracy with each other engaged in a scheme to deprive persons in Harvey of their civil rights and liberty and deprive plaintiffs of their right of free speech and association. The scheme incorporated an effort to extort money from business owners under a purported right to collect Cook County real estate taxes, even though that process is delegated by statute to the Cook County collectors and state's attorney. Now I'm shook. Once your volume go out, I'm always looking to make sure it didn't go back out. The Cook County State Attorney. As part of the scheme, defendants without due process of law barricaded various businesses to prevent plaintiffs from conducting business and otherwise engage in free speech. To that objective, defendants placed barrier walls in front of driveways, gates, doors, and other access points to private property. The purported goal of this scheme was to collect past due real estate taxes from businesses, even when the businesses themselves did not actually owe the purported delinquent real estate tax. All right, the scheme was coupled with the mandate requiring business licenses. When the respective plaintiffs either paid or attempted to pay for a business license, the city of Harvey was happy to collect the money, but not issue the license, and refused to refund any money paid where it did not issue a business license. No money collected by any of the defendants for purportedly past due real estate taxes had been turned over to Cook County collectors. As defendant's scheme transitioned from requiring business licenses to barricading businesses, citizens, including Ryan Sinwelski, attended public meetings to express and voice his protest. Mayor Clark would then order Harvey police to arrest those with a dissenting voice without taking any lawful steps to remove a person from the public meeting. Amongst the persons removed from the public meetings without due process of law are Ryan Sinwelski and Alderwoman Colby Chapman. This case concerns the abuse of power by the city of Harvey's mayor and police force and others whom conduct directed at the plaintiff was and is intended to interfere with the free exercise of speech, denial of due process, and denial of personal liberty under the color of state authority. Such conduct includes, but is not limited to, Clark's direction to remove Chapman, the sitting alderwoman, from a public building and public meetings, thereby negating her vote and her right to exercise her First Amendment right. Additionally, at Clark's direction, Sinwelski was targeted for arrest before he spoke, and at Clark's direction was arrested during a public meeting to prevent his dissenting voice, and in retaliation for Sinwelski protesting of the scheme created by Mayor Clark and his police department to extort money from local businesses. The scheme is exacerbated by the unequal treatment of individuals targeted by the city. Mayor Clark's businesses have no business license, and his business locations have not been barricaded. And up here in a footnote, what we have is a picture of a barricade, the type that were used to block access to facilities and or businesses, although this is not an actual image of the city or the mayor's efforts to block access to a particular place of business. This is an example of what was used. Okay, facts common to the respective counts. Chapter 26. As part of the scheme, the city of Harvey required tenants to various parcels of real estate to pay the city of Harvey upwards of $20,000 as a fine for operating a business where the real estate taxes were not paid. Now, we talked about this before because initially, the way the news article said it, again, these are allegations in the complaint, but I have seen some news stories to corroborate a lot of these allegations. But initially, the news story portrayed it as, this is Harvey, Illinois. Yeah, this is in Harvey, Illinois. The mayor of Harvey, who is a defendant in this case, Lisa, is running against Tiffany Henyard for supervisor of Thornton Township. I know, like, you just pick your poison. But initially, the news article articulated this as, hey, if you owed back taxes, we are just going after you for your back taxes, and we're going to suspend your license until you either pay your back taxes or establish a payment plan to begin paying your back taxes, then we'll give you a license. But this complaint is alleging that fines were paid. Those fines haven't gone to the actual county to be, one, applied to the particular back taxes that may be owed, and actually goes as far as saying that some of the businesses potentially did not even owe back taxes. They were just using this fine as a leverage to be able to get resources, get money, and holding people business licenses hostages. Okay. It says the city of Harvey would demand payment under the auspice that after payment, it would issue a business license. As part of the scheme, the city of Harvey collected money for business licenses, but refused to issue the business license. The requirement for the business licenses were not uniformly applied. Rather, Mayor Clark operates several businesses within the city of Harvey without a business license. That's wild. What I would have added in here, I would have named those businesses that operated without a license just to make it easy to look up, or I would have put it in a footnote. And a footnote at the bottom, it would have all his business entity names, the ones that don't have a license. And I probably would have included the date that research was done to check with the Secretary of State or whatever the name of the entity in Illinois is who would issue those business licenses. And it's just a matter of just to make it clean. If you're asserting that he's holding these people business licenses hostages and he has businesses without a license, you want to put all that evidence right in front of the court so they don't have to come back and ask no fucking questions. Yep. Hey, it's the game is to be sold, not to be told. The game is to be sold, not to be told. They took the money, didn't give them a license. Some of the people purportedly didn't even owe taxes. I mean, I don't know. That's absolutely terrible. That's terrible. Yeah. And the worst part is, like, if these allegations are true, his businesses don't have a license. He can operate his business without a license because he's probably issuing a mandate like, hey, we're not going to shut down my businesses. But if you operate without a license, we are going to send the appropriate personnel over there to shut you down. That's jacked up on the highest level. Okay. Let's see. They collected money for the business license. Okay, here we are. Paragraph 28. The requirement for business license was not uniformly applied. Mayor Clark operates several businesses within the city of Harvey without a business license. And upon information and belief, the funds collected for business licenses were not deposited into an account for the city of Harvey. Now that's terrible. Now that poses the questions. Well, where were they deposited? There's a couple of options I could guess. If these allegations are true, they either deposited into somebody's personal account, which would be wild. They deposited into someone's business account, which would be wild. They deposited into someone's campaign coffers, which would be wild. Or they deposited into someone's nonprofit, which would be wild. All options are wild. It's going to be one of those 4 options, and all of them are absolutely crazy. Okay. It says, all right, where we at? It says, said belief formed by the failure to disclose such funds in response to a FOIA request from various individuals. Okay, so it looked like they submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to try to gain access to see where were the funds being deposited. If somebody paying $20,000 for a business license that they didn't get, it had to go somewhere. See, that's the other thing. I don't know. See, because now I have questions. And typically when you write in a complaint, you want to just try to put everything in there so nobody had a question. So what I would have done right here is if you had a copy of a check or a digital image or a photocopy of a payment confirmation of the $20,000, I would have included that here, because now if you got a check, you can see who the check was made out to. If it was an online deposit, you have some type of date or something to that effect. But I would have included that. Anytime you throw something out there in a complaint, you don't got to give everything, but you got to give enough for a court to look at and be like, okay, I see what you're saying here, and you provided, not you provided a piece of thread for somebody to grab and pull. So I would have included like a photocopy of a check. I would have included a photocopy of a receipt, proof of payment, or you could have even provided the name of several businesses who this actually happened to. All of those would have actually been good. I agree. This is that's why it's called Happy Thanksgiving, because it looks like the next supervisor of Thornton Township is probably going to be somebody who got a lot of bullshit attached to him. All right, so let's see. All right, here we are. Paragraph 30. Citizens have requested via the Freedom of Information Act concerning the collection of monies related to business licenses, and in the city of Harvey has denied the existence of records related to requiring business licenses. See, this would have been perfect. All right, in paragraph 29, they said that funds were collected and were not deposited into accounts for the city. Then it says that FOIA, Freedom of Information Act requests were done. The next paragraph, it says, again, the Freedom of Information Act requests were done and that the city has denied the existence of records related to requiring business licenses. And if they would have had a footnote with either a check copy, a photocopy of the receipt where the payment was made online, or even the name of a business entity where this has happened to, it just provides a little bit more substance that the court has to bolster this complaint. Like, you want to throw a complaint out there, you're complaining of something, but you got to give them a thread to pull at where the court could say, well, they did list these 3 businesses as people or entities that have got strong arm, was shaken down for $20,000 and never got a license. So it's some meat there, some substance there for the court to actually look at. Okay. Paragraph 31, in collaboration and agreement between Clark Biddings, Charles, and CPUT, these are all the defendants, without due process of law, CPUT instructed the employees of the Harvey Public Works Department to install concrete barricades in front of various businesses. That's wild. That's actually crazy as hell. All right. Amongst the businesses that were, okay, now they mentioned these businesses that were barricaded. Now, are these businesses, I don't know, because a lot of these businesses were named previously when we went through all of the plaintiffs, but now I'm a little bit confused because they mentioned them specifically as the entities that were barricaded. So my question would be, and if somebody in the chat know, because I got this from somebody who frequents the chat, my question would be, are these same businesses that were barricaded and barred from conducting businesses the same persons who actually paid the money? Are they persons who paid the money and didn't get a license? Did they pay the money and get a license? Or are these just random businesses that were barricaded but didn't have expectation to pay or weren't forced to pay or what? So it's a little bit confusing to me. I guess if I was, I don't know if it's not listed. I guess if I was reading this, I would just assume that all of these businesses were businesses that either paid and didn't get a license or paid and did get a license, but it doesn't say that expressly. So if I have a question for it, the court is going to have a question for it. So that's just what I would have done. I mean, generally, and it looks like, I believe that this was filed. If this was not filed by an attorney, the court will probably help them maneuver their way through this lawsuit. So if it's not filed by an attorney, I don't believe it was. I'm not going to confirm that because I didn't look it up. We'll see. Actually, hold on. We're on page 7. Let's skip down to the end of the filing. Yeah. Okay. Robert T. Hamlin. Interested. One of plaintiff's attorneys. See, that's confusing me. That's confusing me. I don't know. I don't know why they wrote it like that. Because normally, if it's like a pro se person where they're just filing this on their own unilaterally, the court will normally help you stumble and fumble your way through, even if you cite maybe the wrong statute or apply it incorrectly. The court is going to try to facilitate it if there's enough there for a lawsuit to be filed for actual legal cause of action. But I'm kind of confused. So I know for certain these places were barricaded, but I don't know for certain if these were the places that were made to pay $20,000 and did or didn't get a law license. I mean, a law license did or didn't get a license to actually engage in their particular business activity. All right, amongst the businesses that were barricaded were Atlantic Towing Motors, Easy Auto Mechanic, Harvey Auto Center, Harvey Auto's Repairs Clinic, Los Taquitos Restaurant, Sabaria Auto Repair and Sales, Shaw's Liquor Inc., and Universal Towing Inc., Atlantic Towing Inc. and Motors Inc., Easy Auto Mechanic, Harvey Auto Center, Harvey Auto Repair Center, Los Taquitos, blah, 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 have applied. Okay, all right. Okay, so they addressed it later. Okay. Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, they cleaned it up. Let me see. I'm just looking at how this is written. Okay, they came back and cleaned it up. I probably would have, where I initially mentioned people applying for licenses and not getting it, I would include it. But here they name Atlantic Towing Motors, Easy Auto Mechanic, Harvey Auto Center, Harvey Auto Repair, the restaurant Los Taquitos, Sabaria Auto Repair and Sales, and Universal Towing. They all have applied for business license and paid fees for the license, and the city of Harvey refused to provide to the individual companies that are plaintiffs herein and any other similarly situated a business license. Okay, so they came back and cleaned it up. They all had their business blocked. Well, they all didn't have they all had their business blocks, and a majority of them actually did pay the $20,000, and they did not have a license. Now, again, we just talking through it because a complaint can always be supplemented. But if I was filing this complaint, I would have named what the mayor's businesses were that weren't licensed. I would have included this a little bit earlier. It's still in there so that the court can follow it. But it would have just made it a little bit smoother to read. Because my other question is, I'd like to know what business does the mayor have? Because I'm assuming, I'm just going to guess. I don't know. Based on this complaint and the plaintiffs, what type of business do you think the mayor has? I'm going to assume that he has an auto repair shop. Like if I want to collect money from people and not get licensed, I'm gonna collect money from you and not give you a license and barricade your shit up so you can't operate a business. But I have a business that I'm operating. I'm thinking, I don't know. I may have to look this up, but I'm thinking the only way that would make sense is if those businesses are actually a competitor to your business. Then I can actually see like, oh, I can see why that would make sense. That's why, I would have named the businesses that the actual mayor had. Okay, upon information and belief, Harvey had not issued any business licenses. After Ryan Sinwelski learned of the scheme began being implemented by the city of Harvey and Mayor Clark, he appeared at a public meeting on June 13, 2024. During that meeting, City of Harvey Mayor ordered Deputy Chief Charles to stand near Sinwelski before he spoke. When Sinwelski muttered boo to himself, Mayor Clark ordered Sinwelski forcibly removed and arrested. That's crazy. That sounds like a false imprisonment if that's true. Charles immediately grabbed Sinwelski by the neck. Charles falsely arrested without probable cause and wrongfully charged Sinwelski with disorderly conduct and removed from the public meeting. The charge against Sinwelski were dismissed by the Cook County State's attorneys. That's a good case right there. The charges against Sinwelski were dismissed by the Cook County State attorneys after the office reviewed the video of the events surrounding his arrest. Yo, that's actually a beautiful case right there, that he should file separate and apart from this. Likewise, Kobe Chapman was forcibly removed from at least 2 city council meetings. Chapman had an interest in attending those city council meetings by virtue of her position as an alderwoman. Chapman was later arrested without a warrant during the period that Harvey police were purportedly investigating a purported crime for filing a false police report, which is a class 4 felony that required approval by Cook County State's attorney's felony review. At a point in time unknown to plaintiffs, but believed to be within 1 year from the date of filing of this complaint, defendants Harvey, Bidding, Clark, Charles, and Davis set out to extort monies from various businesses operating in the city of Harvey under the pretext of collecting unpaid real estate taxes. Upon information and belief, part of the monies collected were diverted from the public accounts of Harvey to the individual accounts of the defendant. Okay, interesting. Upon information and belief, I wonder what is their basis for that belief? It had to go somewhere. I mean, it had to go somewhere. I don't know. It had to go somewhere. It had to go to somebody's personal account, a business account, a nonprofit, or someone's election coffers, all which would be absolutely wild. And it would be easy to find out too. If you got all these businesses who paid, I would just ask them, who did you pay? How did you pay? If you wrote a check, you can identify who the check was written out to. You can see where that check was cashed. There's a way you can actually track it. So that would have been good information to add. Okay, it says, upon information belief, part of the monies collected were diverted from the public accounts of Harvey to the individual defendants. The city of Harvey adopted policies of barricading local businesses to prevent them from operating, arresting individuals that objected at public meetings, removing by force on summary order of the mayor individuals from public meetings, extortive policies to collect money for purported real estate taxes and not pay over funds collected to the county treasurer, implementing fines upon non-property owners equal to or in excess of $20,000 for the purported non-payment of real estate taxes by property owners. Mayor Clark had no authority to order the arrest of individuals at any public meeting, nor did he have the unilateral power to remove individuals from a public meeting. I agree with that. In general, no municipality, including the city of Harvey, has the authority to grant any officer the power to order a summary arrest and incarcerate any citizen without warrant or legal process. Harvey and the co-defendants impermissibly targeted speech based on the context viewpoint which Clark disagreed. The policies were removed dissenting voices from the community, was enforced in a way that curtailed plaintiffs' right to peacefully assemble. If these allegations are true, which there's videos out there, I think that's a viable point. Deputy Chief Charles had knowledge that the muttering of boo prior to the arrest of Sinwolski was not a cause for arrest. Upon information of belief on August 14, 2024, at approximately 8:48 p.m., Clark directed Davis to interrupt a conversation between Chapman and Carrie Lynn, these names, Crafter, and attorney serving as the counsel for City of Harvey. On August 14, 2024, at approximately 8:49 p.m., defendant Davis caused unauthorized physical contact between herself and plaintiff Chapman as follows. While present in Harvey City Hall, second floor vestibule area, plaintiff was engaged in a verbal discussion with Crafter. While plaintiff was speaking with Crafter, Davis pushed plaintiff from behind and proceeded to place her body between Crafter and Chapman. Davis' contact with Chapman jostled Chapman and caused Chapman physical pain. Davis' contact with Chapman was harmful and offensive to Chapman, and all of these are words that they use in harmful and offensive is because to meet the definition of an assault or battery, whatever the state calls it, same difference, is unlawful contact in a harmful or offensive manner. So that's why you see them using these keywords, harmful and offensive. Davis' contact with Chapman was without Chapman's consent to prove that it was if it's consent, so they're using all these keywords to establish a basis for a civil claim of assault or battery. Davis' contact with Chapman was designed to prevent Chapman from speaking with Crafter. Wherefore, plaintiff Chapman prays that this honorable court grant the following relief. Damages in amount to be determined at trial, but not less than $100,000. Punitive damages in amount to be determined at trial. Such other and further relief that this court deems just and equitable. All right, count two. Let me see. I want to go through this because I didn't read all of this. I want to go to. Okay. All right. I'm going to go and get through this. Then we're going to jump in the comments. And then we're going to close things out by talking a little bit about the Superman. All right. All right. Count one. Plaintiff incorporates paragraph 1 through 49 by reference as fully alleged in this paragraph. Ron Sinwolski is an outspoken member of the LBGQ LMNOP community, and he has appeared and objected to numerous actions unilaterally taken by Clark. The city council did not vote to remove Sinwolski. Defendant Clark and Charles City Council can vote to, I don't know. Defendants Clark and Charles acted in concert with each other to unlawfully deprive plaintiff of his constitutional right of due process under the Constitution. There was no lawful reason to have Charles grab Sinwolski by the neck and no lawful reason to arrest him. All right, this just reiterates some of the same allegations that were asserted by Colby Chapman about the illegal removal. It says, the plaintiff, Ryan Sinwolski, prays that this honorable court enters a judgment in favor and against defendant Harvey, Clark, and Charles as follows. They're seeking compensatory damages in the exact amount to be proven at trial for the above described violation of due process, and award of plaintiff's costs and expenses together with reasonable attorney fees under Illinois statute for punitive damages against the defendant and such other further relief that this court deems appropriate. Count two, Chapman versus the defendants. I think this is the same thing with the meeting where she was removed by police. Biddings oversaw the police officers and auxiliary police officers at the time. Clark instructed Harvey police to remove Chapman and did nothing to prevent the Harvey police from forcibly removing Chapman from the public meetings. There was no lawful reason. The actions by the defendants were designed to limit her exercise her right of free speech. Plaintiff is seeking damages, the same thing, compensatory damages, cost, punitive damages, and any further relief that the court deems appropriate. And I think we got this same stuff. No warrant to arrest Chapman. Yep, we got the same allegations, same request for relief. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty much it. We wrap that up. The last part talks about the businesses, just so y'all can see it on the screen. We're not gonna go through and read all of that, but so y'all can see it on the screen. But this last part right here, all the plaintiffs, they're seeking, all the plaintiffs who were the business entities who said they paid money, then they didn't get a license, and their shit was barricaded. They're asking the court to enter a temporary restraining order against the defendant that prohibits the placement of barrier walls to prevent access to private properties of plaintiffs, an award of monetary damages and the amount to be determined at trial, punitive damages, issuing a preliminary injunction and a permanent injunction to prohibit Harvey from requiring business licenses on a non-uniform basis, and prohibit Harvey from taking any steps to collect Cook County real estate taxes or undertake any fine to fine any person related to the payment or non-payment of county real estate taxes. Award plaintiff attorney costs and attorney fees, and anything else that the court deems appropriate. All right, let's go ahead and close that out. So that's it. That's a person named in that lawsuit. A person named in that lawsuit is essentially is between Mayor Clark and Mayor Henyard for Thornton Township Supervisor. 2025 is gonna be wild. Man, it's gonna be wild. Somebody else need to throw their name in the hat. Let me go ahead and jump through the comments real quick. But this is absolutely insane. Let's see. Now I did. Okay, I did see that. I did read about that, and I saw some video footage. I don't know if. Hey, 14 turkeys and 12 hams. That's like 14 turkeys. What a turkey probably run? $60. What is turkeys running where y'all going? $60? That may be a serious misdemeanor because it's probably over $1,000 technically. But I did hear about that story. I thought it was absolutely crazy. It's one thing if somebody stole like one extra turkey, I'd be like, maybe they need it. But you still have 14 turkeys, presumably to sell them, I'm assuming, because nobody trying to eat that. That's too much goddamn turkey. So I did hear about that story though. I saw the police there. I saw some of the video. Can't state government not pursue criminal charges for obtaining property by false pretenses or something. The state government, I mean, essentially the prosecutor can elect whatever they want to pursue or not to pursue. So can't state government not pursue criminal charges for obtaining property by false pretenses or something? Yeah, they can elect to decline. They can decline anything that they want to for any reason. And most times when they decline something, even if it's a viable case there, they'll just say, we're declining this prosecution in the interest of the justice. And in the interest of justice, most times it means resources. I've used that before. I've had cases that were viable cases. And I'm just like, man, I don't got the manpower to go after these cases. and I'm not going to be able to get to them. The statute of limitations is going to expire. So we're just going to dismiss this in the interest of justice due to human capital restraints and just wipe it out. But those are your candidates for the Thornton Township Supervisor. We have Christopher Clark, the mayor of Harvey, who has some terrible allegations. We saw the videos, the last live or a couple of lives ago, that kind of corroborated some of those allegations that we read in that complaint. So I don't know. I'll be honest, like, I have no clue what the Thornton Township is going to do if those are their only two options. Because essentially one of them are going to have to win. And I don't know. That's crazy. Somebody else got to throw their name in the hat. Is it still just those two, or am I making that up? Let me look real quick before we dive into this Tiffany Henyard video, because it got on my nerves a little bit. Let's see. Let's see, candidates. Let's see. Okay, we got okay. So this is actually we got I got pulled up a list of everybody who has their name in the hat. These are everybody who has their name in the hat for. Damn, I can't close that. Hold on one moment. I hate when you have like a website, you pull up the news article, and then the website will be like, hey, log in to get further information. But apparently, let's see if I can pull it up. All right. We have Tiffany Henyard is running for her seat. We have Mayor Clark, the mayor of Harvey, who's running for the seat. Then we have 3 independents who are running for the same position of township supervisor. We have Nate Fields. Who else? Give me one. We have Nate Fields, Stafford Owens, and Sydney Moore are independent candidates for supervisor. And hopefully one of those 3 win aside from these 2, because it's just causing a big problem. This is actually terrible now that I think about it, because, well, it depends what name recognition those independents have. If those independent candidates have some name recognition, if anybody's out there in the Thornton Township area, you all let me know. If Nate Fields and some of the other independents for Thornton Township Supervisor have some name recognition. If they have some name recognition, it probably isn't a bad thing to have that many people in the pool. But if each of those 3 independents don't have name recognition, it's probably going to solidify that one of the mayors, Tiffany Henyard or either Mayor Clark, would actually win because of their name recognition. And those 3 independents may just dilute the voting pool so much that it works out in one of the more popular or notoriously popular mayor's favor. Hopefully that's not the case, but elections are kind of funny style like that. So I don't know. I don't know if those persons have the name recognition to win. I think it would be much easier if it was just 3 candidates. If it was Henyard, Clark, Fields, I think that's easy, because then people are like, I definitely don't want this person and this person, so I'd rather have this guy. I don't want these 2 because they suck as mayors, so let's vote for Fields. But now that you got more options, it actually probably increases the chance that one of the thanks-taking mayors will likely win, which would be an absolute disaster. Now, before we get out of here, we're going to take a look at this older video. Now, I thought this video was interesting. I saw it when it happened, but I just refused to watch it. I wasn't going to watch it. I'm not going to make y'all watch too many super long videos of Tiffany Henyard. So I went through the video. skipping, of course, because I couldn't listen to the whole 50 some odd minutes. But I went through the video, pulled out a few key timestamps in the video that I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Super Mayor's Facebook page. We're going to pull up. Hold on, I'm going to try something real quick. Let me try something real quick. Let's copy that. We'll paste that. Oh, okay. I remember that. That's who that was. Okay. I appreciate that, Paul. I appreciate that, Paul. Come on, Tiffany, boyfriend assaulted Nate Fields. I remember that now. Okay, that's where that name is familiar. So, hey, he might get some name recognition just from that. Sometimes when bad things happen like that, it happens in a person's favor. I once knew an attorney who was a attorney. He wasn't really prominent or well known, but he got shot by like just a random stray bullet, and rightfully so, he finessed that bad situation all the way into getting elected and becoming a judge, and he's still on the bench to this day. So shout out to him. All right, I'm gonna drop this link in the chat because I'm gonna try something different. If anybody want to jump on, ask a question, talk about something, feel free to do so. You will not be on camera. Nobody is going to flash a titty on the screen and get my channel blocked or banned or something like that. It'll just solely be your voice. That's all you'll hear, your voice. And it'll just be your voice, and we can go through and chop it up. Now, let me go ahead and pull up the video on the Super Mayor's Facebook page, because she did something that really drove me crazy. And I had to actually write down the timestamps. I got 1, 2, 3. I'm probably not going to dive into all of these. I'll probably dive into 4 or 5 timestamps. None of them are going to be longer than 2-minute increments because we don't want to hear her talk for that long. So we're going to watch maybe 4 or 5 snippets of this discussion. Now, this is after a meeting where the trustees, of course, refused to show up. I think that's the trustees' game plan we talked about. They're just kind of doing a whole stalling tactic. So let's see. We'll start at 5. 1.
Hey guys, come on in.
Actually, no, we're going to skip down to the 9:58 marker. 9:43. That's about right. So we're going to stop here. So these are the things that I pulled away from listening to this, good or bad. I think it's generally, I don't know, I'm conflicted. I think it's a good move for the trustees not to show up, because I'm assuming they're doing that because they don't have the collective amount of votes to actually get anything done or oppose the mayor and whoever she may have on her side. So I think generally it's probably the smartest approach. Just try to stall out until the election. Nobody want to go to court until after January 6th. Nobody want to go to court to the new year. Nobody going to court this time of year. I know I'm not. So I think that's kind of the game plan. So I think it is smart. But the bad thing is it always gives her just the ability to have a platform to talk on. And we talked about that before.
And 190,000 residents who rely on our services. The trustees' claims of prioritizing transparency are simply not credible. Trustee Carmen Carlisle has criticized my appointment, yet she fails to acknowledge that she was appointed under identical circumstances.
All right, real quick. Is that accurate? Because I'm a little confused with how this thing works. I don't know. There's a difference between an appointment and a nomination. And typically the president, the mayor, the governor, they nominate someone before the council, the Senate, or something, say, hey, this person is going to be my appointment, but they have to get confirmed. So it would be a weird process if the mayor has the unilateral authority. But I want to know, is that true? Is that true that Carlisle was appointed directly by the mayor in the absence of having the remainder of the trustees vote on it. I don't know if that's something that legally can be done. I don't know if that's something that could legally be done personally, but I would like to know, somebody in the comments, y'all let me know, chime in, if that is actually accurate. Every time the judge who was the victim of a shooting gets a shooting case, I wonder if the defense asks him to recuse himself. Nah, that's probably not going to fly, because I'll tell you an interesting story. Let me get through this video. But I had an interesting story about a judge whose daughter was the victim of her house was burglarized, and it was a pain in the ass working those type of cases.
For those that don't know, Trustee Carlisle was appointed to her seat as trustee, and she currently now do not want you guys to do the same process, which is come before the board and get the appointment. This selective accountability is a clear example of political deflection. Additionally, taxpayers have paid and spent over $20,000 on consulting to develop an open budget, but after more than several months, no budget has been presented.
All right. Again, she sucks at a lot of things, but I think she does do a good job of bringing up some points that are valid points if you ignore all the bullshit that she has going on. Like, hey, we trying to conduct business and they not showing up. That's the proper argument that she's making. I think the interesting one is, I'm gonna move to 1207 because I couldn't find the request for proposal for the audit of the credit cards that were being used that she mentioned. So if anybody can find that in the chat, definitely shoot it to me. But I thought this one was interesting as well. We talked about the audit, how long these audits should be done, how far they should go back, who should be audited for transparency's sake. But I thought this was an interesting take, and I would like to see the actual request for proposal and see what companies actually put a bid in to obtain this particular contract.
Process to select a firm for a forensic process to select. All of you complain about property taxes. So you guys was going to get 100% tax refund from Thornton Township for each meeting they refused to show up. This program, the first of its kind in our township, is designed to provide a significant financial benefit to our homeowners with exemptions. Their continued absence has paralyzed Thornton Township operations, delaying critical payments and disrupting essential services. Additionally, the trustees approved an RFP process to select a firm for a forensic audit of credit card uses here at Thornton Township, focusing on expenditure involving Keith Freeman and trustee Carmen Carlisle prior to her appointment. This critical initiative aims to ensure fiscal accountability and restore public trust. A highly qualified firm was selected through the transparent process, yet the trustee now refused to attend meetings to finalize the proposal. Blocking this initiative contradicts their claims of supporting transparency and accountability.
Yeah, I tried to see if I could find that request for proposal. I was unable to find it through open source. You'd think it would have been filed on the actual website, but well, actually, no, it wouldn't, because now that I think about it, most requests for proposals, if you want to get them as a citizen, if they don't unilaterally disclose it on their own, you would probably have to do a Freedom of Information Act for it. And if they got a good attorney, they would probably get blocked because it's a government contract. But I would like to see the request for a proposal to see how it was written and also identify what companies actually applied for this particular contract. That's always will give you a little bit of insight, because the proposal is out there. You look at company A, B, and C who applied for the contract, and then you want to establish or look at is Okay, are any persons from company A, B, or C, do they have any type of conflict? Is there any familial relationship? You want somebody who's clean and objective. And normally, all of that stuff will be written in a request for a proposal to try to keep the process as clean as possible. But I do think that that's a good point that she actually made. If it's true, I don't think anything. Most things I question the veracity or the truthfulness of the things that she say. But if that is true, if an RFP was done, candidates applied, and a contractor was selected to do the audit, I think that is actually a good point. If that's true. Now, that's always the big question, if it's true. Now, this one was actually interesting. We're going to talk about, and this is the one that everyone is talking about, 21. It relates to lawsuits. So we have the 21-minute mark.
And your name and your character. But my people, y'all know who I am. Y'all know what I do. I've been in my community for years. I've been in government for over a decade.
Some of this stuff, it would probably behoove her to leave out, because a lot of the things that she's doing, she's trying to blame on Keith Freeman, for example. He's telling me this is how government was run. And if that's your argument, you definitely don't want to highlight your years of government experience. That just blows that argument out of the water.
And they mad because they cannot and will not control me. That's what it's all about. And to the ladies that's in politics, I call it, you know what it is. They will not allow you to have a seat at their table. So guess what we do? Go build your own. Build your own table. And pray they get a seat at your table. How about that?
For hours.
But I just want to make sure that you understood what was going on here at Thornton Township, because it's so much misinformation out in the public. So many misleading statements that people make with no facts. And so many people that the fake news they interview and just talk. And that's why I got no respect for them, because they supposed to be a journalist. But they don't go and fact check nothing nobody say. They just put it out there. And that's why when I sue everybody, because I'm coming. No, I'm coming.
Uh-oh, she's coming for me, y'all.
For defaming my name, defaming my character, and this conspiracy to try to destroy Tiffany Henyard. I will come for everyone. Know that. This is facts. It's not fiction. But at the end of the day...
And that's hilarious, because I don't know. Y'all let me know. I haven't seen anyone talk about anything. I haven't seen any, I don't know, maybe there are some, I don't know, YouTubers or smaller media outlets out there who just talk about random stuff. But every story that I believe I've seen related to Tiffany Henyard that talked about some tomfoolery that's going on, it's always corroborated, or at least is being reported by a viable news outlet, whether it's the local news, whether it's the Lansing Journal. So I don't know who is out there telling. I don't know. I don't see people out there telling stories that haven't already been publicly put out in the news or haven't been supported by something that was seen or said at a township, at a trustee meeting, whether it was with the village or the Thornton Township. So I don't even know what her claim for defamation would be on, because I can't think of one video that I saw where a person told something that wasn't factual, because most of the stories are based on court cases, media reporting, or footage or information that was disclosed at a public meeting or some form like that. So I don't even know what the defamation would even be. That's a threat. I will come for everyone. Yeah, I'll let y'all know if I get a lawsuit in the mail. But I think there's a lot of other YouTubers who she probably put above me. And I'll let y'all know if I get a civil complaint in the mail. Now, the last one I want to go to is you know what? I think I got two more, but No, I'm going to go to 3219 first. Then I'm going to backtrack because one is funny. I'm going to go to the 3219 mark because I think, hey, I don't know if this is a 32. All right, we have the 3210 mark. I thought this was actually catchy. Hey, for marketing purposes, I think she took a page out of the Jesse Jackson playbook. I think she took a page out of the renowned, rest in peace, criminal defense attorney Johnny Cochran playbook. But I thought this was actually an interesting thing to do. We've seen this done federally, but let's see if y'all catch it. I was like, that's actually pretty catchy.
My community, because I grew there. Y'all keep flying there. You don't live in my town. Stop it. But you got something to say about my community. People will speak. It's upcoming election. I will regain both seats by landslide. I stated this at the last meeting. 2025 will be mine once again. 2025, I will landslide everyone. So don't sleep on a little engine that could, or the little engine that's doing right now.
That's funny. I missed that part.
I'm chugga-lugga. I'm coming through. I'm coming through, baby. I'm coming through. Because this too shall pass. But I just want you to know that I am on the ballot as number one, baby. One. Number one. Because God knew what he was doing.
Hey, real quick, there's actually some statistical information that supports the person being the first name on the ballot. Generally, the first name on a ballot has an advantage because you would be amazed at the percentage of people who they just check the first name on the ballot and keep it moving. So a lot of times that first name on the ballot does have an advantage. That's why sometimes in a primary, they may have person A, B, and C, and they'll sometimes during the general election, they may alter the names around to have different person in that first slot because there has been studies shown to show whoever has their name first is going to get a certain percentage of votes just because people just circle the bubble next to the first name. So that's actually a viable point that she made.
I was number one back then when I ran in 21, and now I'm number one in 25. Because I'm going to thrive in 2025, and I am number one on the ballot.
I think that's her campaign slogan. Thrive in 20. I'm going to thrive in 2025. Hey, you got to have a catchphrase, a slogan. I think that's as good as anyone. I mean, President Trump had one. Didn't Joe Biden have one? What was his? It was something wild. I feel like everybody has to have some slogan to associate familiarity with your name and your campaign. So I guess that's what she's going with. But there is a valid point to being the first name on the ballot. Statistically, the first name on the ballot has alarm went off. Statistically, the first name on the ballot is going to get a certain percentage of votes. Now, this is the last thing that we're going to see, and this just kind of frustrated me. I'm sure it frustrated y'all, and it frustrated me because it reminded me of something that another well-known Black person did who was charged and convicted of doing something, who was accused, charged, indicted, and convicted of doing something stupid, Jonathan Majors. So I'm gonna play this, and y'all gonna catch exactly what it is if y'all watch my footage or any coverage that I did when Jonathan Majors was going through his drama. But it pissed me off.
We're supposed to band together. Yes, I have the seat. Yes, I know a lot of you guys are mad because it's not you and it's me. I understand. But the thing you're supposed to do is reach across the aisle and say, you know what? You got the seat. I want to help build with you, Tiffany. Y'all don't do that. Y'all too busy trying to destroy and conquer. There's no way that you are going to be able to dim my light thinking yours is going to shine. Not going to happen. So this is my olive branch once again. I do this all the time, but everybody still do what they want to do. Reach out. Let's build together the 17 communities, the Black and brown communities. We cry about what we don't have and what we need, and we all can come to the table and build together. We are so much better in numbers, strength. We are so much better if we just band together for once in our lives. Guess what? I am the 21st century. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Rose.
That's just crazy to say. Like, yeah. Low key, hold up. Let's finish it.
I am. And as I always say, Martin Luther King had the dream, but guess what? I am the dream. And you can be too.
That's actually crazy to say, coming from somebody like her. This is just my take on it. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. But her approach to leadership seems counter to everything that Dr. King, Malcolm X would stand for. I don't think that they stood for. Dr. King generally didn't want anybody to get screwed, but him having a Black or brown person screw over the community who's also Black or brown, I think that he would really be against that. So I don't know if she's Dr. King's dream. I don't know if she means it. I think she means it from a standpoint of she's a Black woman in this particular role. That's what I'm thinking that she's meaning. Because that's the only thing that I could get that would kind of make sense. Like, hey, Dr. King had a dream, or comparing herself to those other persons. If she's saying it as, hey, she's the first Black woman to be mayor or something like that, then maybe I get it. But I don't think there's any consistency with the ideology of any of those people she made and how she's governing a community that's mostly of people who look like her. I think they all will be appalled and generally offended by that statement. That's just my personal thought. Y'all let me know. If she bluffing, I'm safe. I'm marked safe. Hey, it's good to know that I'm marked safe. If I get something in the mail, if I get a complaint in the mail, I'm going to go over my own complaint. We're going to go over my own complaint in the mail. But that's funny. You marked safe? Let's see. Check a look. Yeah, I thought that was crazy. Joe Biden, I'm running, no joke. I don't know. I thought it was like no malarkey, because they all had, like, Barack Obama had like change or hope. Like, they all have some catchphrase, because you got to have something that people can attach to. I can't remember Joe Biden's. What was it? If I can't remember it, it probably wasn't a really good one. What was? Yeah, Hillary Clinton had one. I'm with her, which was bad. Like the slogan has to be about something. It can't be something. Your slogan as a politician. This is just anybody. If you ever want to run for office and you come up with a slogan, your slogan has to be something that impacts the population as a whole. So it shouldn't be like, yo, I'm with Marcus. That'll be a wild slogan because it's individualized towards me. So like something like I'm with her, that's not really a good slogan. Something like hope, change, hell, low key, I think Donald Trump had a great one. Because it's something that applies to people as a whole. That has your slogan can't be something that's individualized just based on you. She's all that in a bag of chips. Yeah. I am the dream too. That's actually crazy. Pass the crack pipe, please. Her always bringing up Dr. King, and she's did it on multiple occasions. I just don't like when people do it. It reminds me of when, I don't know if y'all remember when Jonathan Majors was running away from that white lady and he ended up losing everything that he had and he pretty much broke now. Then he ran to date Megan Good, is it who he's dating? But every time he has a speech, he calls her Coretta Scott. I'm like, bro, stop it. She is no fucking Coretta Scott. And if she's Coretta Scott, you damn sure ain't no Dr. King. Like, I don't know. I'm just never a proponent of people using names of icons like that, especially if you kind of ain't shit. That's like not a good thing. Like, if you're a mayor who's involved in nothing but scandal, you should be refraining from using the name of someone who's generally looked at in a high regard. I think people generally look at Dr. King in a high regard. Okay, like even his wife Coretta was like, "Hey, I ain't worried about what he did on the infidelity side of the game. He had an actual purpose that was geared towards helping people, which is the opposite of what we see from Tiffany Henyard." So I don't know. I think it's I think it's wild. I think it's terrible that those two, Mayor Clark and Tiffany Henyard, are probably candidates 1 and 2 when it comes to being the supervisor for the township. So hopefully one of those 3 independents can pull something out of their ass and pull that election off. If not, it's going to be a bad look for the next 4 years for the Thornton Township. Now, one of those persons may have the federal government may intercede and cut someone's tenure short if they win, but it's just not looking good. And you got to go out there and vote for those third-party candidates, whoever it is. But you can't pick two people who have 98% of their time in office associated with some type of corruption and or scandal. That's kind of crazy. Hey, that being said, I know when I say that statement, immediately somebody gonna be like, look at the White House though. Trump won re-election. Well, hey, those 2 different circumstances. It is what it is. You know what I mean? If they win too, if Henyard wins in a landslide, it is what it is. That's just what it is. You gotta accept what it is, be it good or bad. But those are the topics we had. I think the next video that we'll probably do, I might do it. Well, now tomorrow night I'm gonna be watching wrestling, so it probably won't be tomorrow night. It'll probably be Monday night. I think the next video we do is just going to be an easy, free-flowing, no real topic, just Q&A. If you got anything, come in. If you got something you want me to look up and talk about, we'll just do it instantly and react to. I'll probably start that one a little bit earlier, maybe 8 or 8:30, because if it's a story that you all give me that I haven't looked at yet, it's going to take me some time to search for the story. Then we're going to go through it and read it together. So that should be fun. We'll dive in and do that. But let's see. Yeah. Pass the crack pipe, please. That was Marion Barry's election slogan, and he won the re-election with that. But that's it. Interesting thing too, Paul. I know you said something about Joe Biden, but did you all see that? I saw 2 articles from viable media sources. I'll give y'all this on the back end, closing out. And they said that one is wild. One said that there's speculation that Hillary Clinton is going to run in 2028. That's wild. I don't know how old is Hillary Clinton? But I saw a viable news source that said there's speculation. Nah, bruh. Nah, she's 77 right now. So she around the same age as President Trump. But to add another 4 years on that, so you talk about you running at 80 plus, that's kind of wild. I don't know how true that is. If that is true, that's actually crazy. I agree that she should not run again personally. But if that article I saw is that if there's speculation that Hillary's going to run, that's actually terrible, because I just don't think she'll win, and then she'll be 80 plus years old. That's actually kind of crazy. Then the second article I saw that was probably more realistic, but is not necessarily the greatest idea, was that I think Harris was planning on running in 2028 as well, which would, I mean, I can see why it would make sense, but I don't know. I just don't know how viable that is. I think a new candidate on the Democratic side needs to be cultivated. I don't think nobody want to see. And how often is it that you see somebody who runs for election and loses? I mean, it happens, but it's not really that common. You know what I mean? You just gotta have something else to pivot to after you lose an election. Especially, it's the same thing we talked about with Tiffany Henyard. If she loses every election, what would she do to actually be able to make a salary comparable to the $250,000+ that she made? It's just hard when you are in office, then you lose, because everything after that is a step down. I saw something that says she may run for governor. If you were vice president, why would you want to run for governor? Like, I don't know. Like, Supreme Court justice, a president did do that, served as president, then was appointed to the Supreme Court and was a justice. Something like that, even though that's still a step down, I could see something like that. But they would actually have to be able to win to have somebody appoint her, which is going to be interesting. I don't know. It won't be here in 2028. That's funny. It's going to be called something else. I don't know. Like, y'all ever see that guy on America ain't going nowhere. Hey, we just start suing everyone for money that she hasn't collected. Yeah, I don't think she has any viable skill that could warrant her a $200,000+ salary. I don't disagree with that. I just think sometimes you got to just start from scratch. And now is the time to start from scratch and find a viable candidate who you got 4 years to give some name recognition to. Just don't wash, rinse, and repeat. Come on now. If you do the same shit and expect a different result, so I think that's a fair point. Yeah. Interesting question. Does he have another job? Probably not. I mean, what would Lacey do outside of police chief? Well, I don't know. As an ex-police officer, I mean, he could probably get a job. Actually, to be fair, he probably could get a job making decent money in the private sector. As a former chief of police for a small municipality, he probably could get a job. He probably could get a job making about the same, if not more than what he made as chief of police. Because I think he was in the $100,000 range. And if you're pretty high up, before I was an attorney, I used to do security, and it's not uncommon for somebody in a supervisory level to make $100,000, and that was back in the day. So now it probably would be easy, because they would probably, they would value his police experience, even though he has a lot of bullshit on his record, but they would value his police experience and his overall experience just in the criminal justice system. So he actually might be all right. He's security at Bojangles. I don't think Bojangles needs security, but he could get a job as top flight security. If he has all of his credentials, he could probably get a job as armed security that pays more. But I think he actually could get something, because he was law enforcement. Whether he was good or bad law enforcement, he could get something in the private sector. So but Tiffany Henyard, when you're the mayor, like, what did she do before she was a trustee? I guess would be the question. Does anybody know what Tiffany Henyard did? Have a good one, Paul. Does anybody know? Give me a bounce like that. What was Tiffany Henyard's profession before she became a trustee? I guess that's the question. If we can find that out, then we might actually be able to see reasonably what she could do. Let me see. Let's see. I don't think it's anything, because I remember we looked at her LinkedIn and it was really vague. Nah, I don't. Nah, it says I don't know. I don't think it's anything that she could do. It says she grew up in Dalton, graduated from Thornridge High School. She earned a degree in business administration from Robert Morris University of Illinois. Henyard is a lifelong resident of Dalton. In 2011, Henyard got her start in government and politics by working, on then Governor Pat Quinn's Put Illinois to Work initiative. Then she became a trustee for the village of Dalton in 2013. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, terrible. Yeah. Good Burger Restaurant. That's what was on her LinkedIn. The Good Burger owner. Yeah. That's a Good Burger owner. Yeah. And slumlord. Tiff can hire her. Yeah, she can hire Lacey as private security and slumlord. But the thing is, that's funny. I know, but that restaurant was unsuccessful. So there's nothing in her track record. There's nothing in her past work experience. I'm guessing it started from 2011 when she was working on Pat Quinn's campaign that denotes if she's not in the two positions she has, she can go and get a job where she can make $200,000+ a year. Even if she's worked on someone's political campaign, that shit not gonna pay her $200,000+ a year. So she kind of stuck. Oh God, it was pretty terrible. I know somebody told me I should look that up and do a reaction to it. I didn't see the Shark Tank pitch. I did see oh my goodness. What is the trustee name? I did see like a commercial with him. Oh man, his name escapes me. It's the dark-skinned trustee with the bald head who's a Henyard ally, and he was eating the Good Burger, and that burger looked disgusting as hell. I was like, I don't know, but yeah, anytime you're in politics, whether you're mayor or governor, if you lose, it's always a difficult transition to find something else, unless you're like an attorney, and that's like maybe she could go to like Kamala Harris. She could actually go work at probably like an AmLaw top 100 law firm and make $500,000-$700,000 a year easily, and she'd be good to go. But because she's an attorney, so attorneys normally get soft landings because they lose in politics, but they still have those contacts, and they go right into a law firm, and they're like a partner at a law firm making a shitload of money. But outside of that, most people don't get soft landings like that. Sometimes if they connected, they may go work on like the board of directors at some big company who maybe they did some favors for, but I don't know if Tiffany Henyard has that type of pull. Fuck no. Nah, she would have to get a nah. I'll be honest, like, nah. I don't think so. Definitely not in the village, because I think she just has a track record of treating businesses badly. Remember, there were the articles about saying, hey, she was pretty much allegedly strong arming businesses to donate to the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation in exchange for like being able to operate in the village. So I think that's an absolute no. Oh, it was the pitch. Okay. If somebody send me that, because I'm going to look that up. I never seen it before. Somebody told me about it. The only thing I remember that was funny was the music video. That was wild. The music video to R. Kelly beat. But I don't know. It's interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. I think that this is the sweet spot. This is my guess. Let me see. Yes. That's who it was. I knew his last name was Brown. His first name escaped me though. But I did see a picture of that burger that he was holding, and that shit looked disgusting. It was all falling apart. That burger looked gross as hell. Now I'm looking to see if it pops up. No, it definitely didn't look like it definitely didn't look like any of these images. I'm trying to see if I can find that damn image. Over space. Let's see if I can find it. That shit not even in open source. But it was a terrible looking burger. That burger looked like some shit that, like, I don't know, my daughter would have made when she was 2. But hey, that's it for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and tap out everybody. Y'all have a good, safe holiday weekend. Enjoy yourself. Make sure y'all relax. Eat all the leftovers. Me, I think Sunday is my cutoff day, but I should be able to get rid of everything by Sunday. But Sunday is typically a cutoff day. After Sunday, I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm not trying to get salmonella or anything like that. So I just pass on it. Y'all have a good one. Be safe. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let me see. I got to see if I can find that video. I'm going to find the video, and I'll put a pre-recorded video out. Of my initial reaction to it. I'm going to just do it live. I'm going to find the video, set the camera up, search for it, then just hit record when I find it. I'm going to hit record before I find it so y'all can see my real reaction to it. But I'm assuming, like a lot of stuff that Tiffany Henyard does, is probably terrible, hence the reason why she wasn't on the show, because it wasn't even an original name that she could come up with. That's it for this video. Yo, y'all take care. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Be blessed. I appreciate y'all. Peace.